Thank you. Good morning. I'm Linda Harley, CEO and founder of Purple Pixie Studios, and today we're going to talk about setting stories free. I am a storyteller. Since I was 1.5 years old, I've been entertaining my family, friends, and strangers through my art, music, drama, and acting. I love a good story, and I'm often away on my own adventures in my imagination. In 2012, I published my first novel called Destiny's Flower. It is a science fiction romance. And currently, I'm working on the second series in the book, and it is called Liberty's Flower and is undergoing editorial changes at the moment. Now, when I write, I often think in terms of sound and music and picture and actions. So when I went to go create my first ebook, I became very frustrated with the process because I wanted to do so much more than just show text on the screen. I wanted to, for example, when the spaceship explodes, want to show fire on the screen along with the sound of explosions going off over the device. I wanted to create an enhanced experience, but I couldn't. I was trapped because technology didn't exist for me to be able to do that easily. I searched high and low for an adequate solution, but couldn't find one. And this made me just wonder how many stories are out there that are going untold that I really want to experience but won't have the chance to. And so I set out and tried to solve this problem by creating Purple Pixie Studios with the intention of setting those stories free from their limited technology. And so we introduce the G-Novel revolution. The G-Novel is an integrative media where we combine text, music, sound, illustrations, photographs, and so much more to provide an immersed experience for the reader. The G-Novel really helps to bridge the gap between books and video games. And it is the next step in the evolution of literature in order to provide a more engaging story. So here's what it looks like. Boy meets girl and falls in love. The boy makes his passionate feelings known. Along the way, though, the reader gets to decide what's going to happen and how the story is going to fold by making choices. However, the choices have consequences. And in this case, the characters live happily ever after. So Purple Pixie will provide a platform solution to allow authors to both create as well as distribute their G-novels to the marketplace, where readers will have easy access to the content. We will also be providing a revolutionary feedback system for the authors. Current methods of feedback are flawed in many ways, and that is because they're still used because there really is no other alternatives. Now, by using the onboard technology of those user devices, we can read and record the emotions of the readers as they occur while they're reading the story. And we can store that information and make it available to the authors so that they can use that information to be able to update and create better stories. We have been thus far overwhelmed by the support from the public. When we launched our first marketing campaign, we had over 20,000 people visit our website in 6 weeks. Last week, I was very pleased to announce the first 3 graphic artists that we have hired. And within 1 week, we had 8,000 likes by people all saying that they're excited about this and looking forward to it. Now, I have devoted my career thus far to understanding how people interact with technology. I hold advanced degrees in human technology interaction. And this photo is actually from my PhD, where I looked at how people would interact with a gaming environment while sitting in a robotic device. I have managed multi-million-dollar projects and have led many design teams to create interactive media. So how are we going to do this? Well, we're going to hire Big Nerd Ranch to help us with the initial software development, and we're going to start by creating a prototype. And the plan for the prototype is to be able to get one G-novel to market by Valentine's Day. After that, we're going to work on creating and building out the platform to add more and more and more tools for those authors to be able to create their G-novels. Then, once we have the stable platform, we're going to transition into more of the commercialization phase of things, during which that feedback system is going to become vital in order to ensure that we're making the readers engaged and that they're pleased with what we are producing. And lastly, we plan to expand this way beyond into other media and to provide services to other studios and publishing companies. Now, readers will have easy access to the content via the web, and they'll be able to purchase those titles at around $15 to $40 per title. They will also have the option to have a membership subscription fee of around $10 per month, and this will give them access to at least one title per month. The authors will also have a very minimal fee, and that will gain them access to all the tools that they will need in order to create their G-novels. The authors will earn up to 25% of royalty for non-exclusive rights publishing with us, or up to 40% if they're exclusively publishing with us. And lastly, for those authors and publishers that want full access to the feedback system data, they will have a more higher premium to pay. That will be the pro version of the software. Now, at the end of 5 years, we hope to have around 1.5 million subscribers, which makes up about 1% of the book market. That translates into about $15 million in revenue and $10 million in operating profit. Now, the best equivalent for the customer's experience is similar to YouTube. And if you believe in YouTube, you should believe in us. Now, how are we going to attract those artists, writers, and composers? We will be handing out freemium licenses to Webtoon artists as well as graduating seniors from art institutes. The reason that we will do that is that will allow us to really be able to very rapidly create content and have content available for the G-novels. We will pursue various different levels of media coverage, and we'll attend conventions like Dragon Con and Comic Con. Now, on the reader's side, what we will do is we're going to create promotional videos of our most popular titles, host them on Facebook, YouTube, but also show them on channels like Funimation, which is an animation channel, and so is directly related to the audience that we're trying to connect with. We'll hold a real-time TV show once a week to allow our readers to directly engage with our authors via Twitter. And then lastly, we will grow our fan club by making merchandise available as well as holding contests for our readers. Now, the plan is to start our crowdfunding, and we will be doing that in the next 30 days, and that will raise our initial $100,000, and that will help us get to market by Valentine's Day. We're seeking additional investment of $300K to be able to get to the point where our platform solution is stable, and then an additional $700K to build out the commercialization and the entire feedback system. Now, the plan is for the exit strategy within 5 years to be able sell it off to distributor like Amazon, or be involved or sell it off to a company like DC Comics or Marvel. Now, thank you for your attention today, and if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. Yes. So this slide, I believe, talks about that. So we will, for our artists, artists will be paying about $10 a month, and that is really to gain access to all the back-end tools, okay? And then, but at the same time, though, artists will receive a percentage royalty fee for the sales of their specific titles. Yes. Yeah, so that's a great question. So I've talked to many artists and authors already on a one-on-one basis. And so when we attended DragonCon a few weeks, I had a plethora of opportunity to talk with these individuals. And every person that I talked to, their first question to me was like, when is this going to be available? I want to do this today. Customers, the same thing. We talked with many of them, and have had great responses so far. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sure. So one of the barriers that the authors currently have is making the connections with other artists and illustrators and sound engineers and software developers in order to even create a graphic novel like this. Okay. And so one of the main things that we'll be providing is that network for them to have access to those people to be able to create their G-novels. I've talked with many authors out there, and the first question I get is like, well, how do I even get in touch with an artist? Right, to do the illustrations for me. I talked with an author yesterday, for example, and she told me that she tried finding somebody over the internet and ended up hiring somebody in Indonesia to do the illustration for her, while we have so many people in our backyard that can do the exact same thing. So that's one of the distinguishing factors that we'll be bringing. Yes. Yes. So at the end of the day, yes, it'll be a core feature because we want to be able to know, are the people liking the story? How are they feeling with it? If they really despise this one character, is that by our design, or is that an artifact that's occurring, and do we need to kill off that character? Yes. 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 Oh, yes. Definitely. And definitely. And so we're starting with this because this is the easiest, because we have 2D graphics, and so it's very easy to interpret not only where they're looking, but also what their emotional response is to what they're looking at. So, yes. Yeah, that's okay. Sure. So the purpose of the prototype is literally just to get the initial G novel out there. Okay. Then the 300K for the platform is to develop all of the tools necessary for authors anywhere in the world to be able to create it. And the reason we need that is because we need a lot of upfront content to be able to even start generating data for our analysis of the facial recognition. Okay. And then the 700K will be largely devoted towards developing that algorithm that we will then receive immediate feedback from them. And your question about how will I know if this is accurate or not, that's a great question, and that comes back to experimental design, which I have done for the past 10 years. And so you have a set of people, you do some psychological experimentation to make sure that your algorithm matches what you're interpreting. No. Thank you so much for all of your time, and I look forward to meeting all of you afterwards.